to streams and
Wait,
stuff.
I think it might be working now.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3.
Is our audio on? I have no idea if the audio's on.
Well, we'll have to see, won't we?
I think it's on.
Do you want me to get it up on my phone? Do you want me to get the screen up?
Right, it's on.
I just heard my own voice through your microphone.
Yeah, right, audio's up. Right, so welcome to round 3 of CTCR Season 5 Tier 2 here at the Singapore Grand Prix. This weekend we have replaced momentarily the main commentator of Kofi with Jack here, who has questionable knowledge on F1, but it'll be fine.
I'm charismatic. That's why I'm here.
Well, we can say that. But we approach this round with Mr. Orabeng leading the championship for Aston Martin, to Magnus not far behind, those two being our only race winners of the 2 races so far.
Indeed.
Neither of them with a pole position. No, 2 Magnus had a pole position, that's wrong. But Orabeng yet to have a pole position. In what was a rather hectic race last time out, one that 2 Magnus arguably should have won, but then very much didn't win. And one that was brilliant from Orabeng, starting from 13th to win. Yeah, so Singapore will, it will end terribly. Someone's going to crash pretty soon. 2 Magnus already very close to the Ferrari here. Jack, is your F1 installed yet?
It's literally as you said that. It just started up. For the people of the stream, my F1 miraculously disappeared earlier today. So it's just been
2 Magnus has hit the wall.
Oh, 2
okay,
Magnus.
and Gaffo's got a 5th-place grid penalty. Well, we've been here for 2 minutes and things are already happening. That is Singapore for you.
Well, it's much more interesting than the Bahrain race from a few weeks ago, and with the actual race hasn't even started yet. Not the Bahrain race that you lot did, the actual Bahrain race.
Yeah, your first ever race that you watched, wasn't it?
It was, and I really enjoyed it.
Well, you'll learn some more from this. But
I'm sure I will.
An AlphaTauri of Fancaroso is going on his first flying lap, so we can watch this one as it will be pole position for a few seconds because it'll be the first lap to finish.
Okay, downloading game content, whoop, a whoop-de-whoop.
Right, so what you have to do, Jack, when you join is you'll join the lobby, and then before you click join game, just in the lobby, press triangle, it will make you a spectator. Then you join. Make sure you do not join if you're not a spectator.
Okay.
Because that would be very bad.
It's just downloading the game content. It's 27%, so I don't know how long it'll take. But...
Okay, right. Well, as we watch Fancaroso on this seemingly very good lap so far.
Well, it's going to be an interesting race, I assume, today. The drivers seem extremely competent from what I've seen on these tables, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yes, of course, you've not actually seen any of the racing yet, because...
Not seen the races, but I've seen the graphs, so...
And the graphs say nothing.
I must say, whoever made these graphs, I'm loving the colour coding.
Now you complimenting our glorious owner, LG Gaffo, who is currently in 16th, but that is
LG Gaffo.
Yeah.
LG Gaffo, if you're watching, the XL mastery going on here is brilliant.
And Jackie Cabana has disconnected. I should probably invite him, but before I do, Fancaroso goes quickest with a 1 minute 38.807. That is a decent lap time, but in all honesty, I have no idea if it will hold.
Jesus.
Just invite Jackie Cabana.
It's on 28%. This might take a while. It's gone up by 1% since I last looked.
Right, so, and back to spawn you go, has gone quickest with a 1 minute 38.6. Not a bad lap from the Alpine driver.
Not at all.
2 Magnus must have got damaged because he's only just on his out lap. But there is a Haas of Holman crossing the line, and he goes... I think he was starting a lap. He was starting a lap, wasn't he? Yeah. Right, who's coming to the line then? There is a Red Bull on an out lap, so we could watch him. We're not going to. There's an Alfa Romeo of Hayden Codd who I've missed completely. He has gone P6. Back to spawn you go, has been given a 5-place grid penalty for a collision with the Mercedes of Marshy. That is the second 5-place grid penalty of the session already.
Oh, sorry, I was getting confused by what back to spawn you go was. I didn't know whether you were telling people to go back to spawn or it was a person.
No, that
Sorry,
is in
carry on.
fact a person. Slightly confusing.
Back to spawn you go. I apologise for my misunderstanding of your name.
So, there is that an AlphaTauri that's pitting? I can't find him. That is an AlphaTauri that's pitting. So the next driver to start a lap will be 2 Magnus, the winner of round 1 in Bahrain.
I was about to say, 2 Magnus, from what I understand, seems to be a pretty good driver.
2 Magnus is very Max Verstappen-like, yes.
Ah. Well, I look forward to seeing today's race once the game content downloads. Here's the update. It's gone up 1 more percent. So I'm now 29% loaded.
Sorry,
So
I had to go for a second there, but you didn't notice.
If you wouldn't have said something, then we wouldn't have realised.
Yep, that is why we hired you. Even though no one knows who you are, and they never will. Because you're not in the Discord server. You probably should be now I think of it. I'll make sure to add you later. That is of course assuming Gaffo likes you, as Random Kitty Captain goes P6. But 2 Magnus, still on a good lap so far.
I'm just going to assess these tables more.
So, Sector 2, we'll get the timing in just a second, and that was purple through Sector 2 from 2 Magnus, who we do expect a lot from. He's been quick in the first 2 races, got a bit unlucky in the second with incidents and stuff out of control, but was up there with the pole position in that race too. Will he get provisional pole here in Singapore, or will he do the oven curry special and put it in a wall instead?
What did you just say?
I said nothing. And 2 Magnus, I think he invalidated and I didn't know. No, he's gone P3. Sorry, that's my eyes. P3 with a 39.2, 6/10 off P1. That is not what we'd expect for him. Maybe there was a mistake in there somewhere because that is slightly uncharacteristic from him. The Alfa Romeo of Ozone has just pits. Who else is on track? Gaffo, our leader, owner of the league, has just started a flying lap.
Oof.
Have you managed to load up the game yet, Jack?
No, it's not even gone up 1% yet.
Okay, are you sure it wasn't the ready to start that's installed?
Yes, it was the ready to. Oh, it's gone. It's 30%.
So your game is on 30%.
It's game content is 30% downloaded.
Right. So you're gonna have to commentate on this race when you can't see it.
I can give some general notes, which I can find on the graph. We'll have to wait till Kofi gets on.
Yeah, once Kofi is on, he can share play the game to you and you can see it.
Yeah.
If Kofi gets on, because at the moment, he's not here. Actually, I should probably add him to the party, that might help. But Gaffo so far on a good lap, clean, other than getting held up at turn 2 by the Mercedes. But could look good so far. I can't find Kofi on my friends list. This is not very professional commentator of me.
Wouldn't find Gary Lineker doing this, Owen.
Well, you might actually. You never know. Why do I have a feeling that broke the stream? Anyway, Gaffo coming up to the last corner on his first lap of the session. Of course, he does have a 5-place grid penalty for a collision that I have no idea what happened, but he goes quickest with a 1 minute 37.3.
Absolutely
that is competitive.
spectacular.
Clearly, Gaffo likes this track, but we know from me looking at their time trials in Tier 2 chat that drivers have more to give. One of those such drivers being Mr. Orbeng in the last sector at the moment, approaching the penultimate corner. Probably a brilliant lap knowing him.
Well, yeah, as it says on the graph, he seems to be a top tier player, Mr. Orbeng player.
He's gone P5 with a 1 minute 38.8 and then blatantly cut turn one on his in lap. In the meantime, Techno Sizzle has gone P2, which I missed completely, and Fancaroso has gone P3, which I missed completely. I think they might have done that before Gaffo set his lap as well. But at the moment, Gaffo does seem comfortable out front. And then Techno Sizzle in second, then it gets very competitive from third to fifth, with Fancaroso back to spawn you go, and Mr. Orbeng. To Magnus, who has been up there in every race so far, only P7.
Oh, and are you able to share screen to me, or will it lag out the stream?
I think it will lag out the stream because my Wi-Fi is shit as it is, so...
Are we allowed to... Yeah,
I don't know if we
update,
are.
it's gone up 1%.
Yeah, it's not an update, Jack, you've not installed the game. That half an hour install was the ready to start.
I'm giving you the update on how far it's going. We've currently on 31%.
How many minutes does it say it will take?
It's not giving me an estimate.
Okay. I have a feeling this race will finish before we get that estimate. In the meantime,
most likely.
Marshy is on a lap. A driver who has considered himself unlucky in the races so far, he's on an in lap, never mind. But he has gone P3, which I completely missed. Right.
Stay aware, Owen.
I'm sorry, it's difficult when you're downloading the game. Anyway, to Magnus, is this a lap? Is he finishing a lap? No, he's starting a lap. To Magnus, I think, has fueled for multiple laps here because this seems like, yeah, it didn't say it was on an out lap, or it did and I missed it. But to Magnus, we wouldn't expect him to be down in P9, has started a lap.
I'm just going to smile and nod.
That Haas there of Holman getting nicely out of the way for him. And a very clean sector. I think that's sector 2, I don't really know where they start and end on this track. But to Magnus, good lap so far. Will it be enough to get him above the what is considered quite a lowly P9 as it is, but that is of course a points position, and it's Singapore, so we probably have 5 finishers in this race by lap 5. And to Magnus has hit the wall.
Oh, Magnus.
And he has abandoned his lap, presumably with damage there. And he might have just held up that Alfa Romeo of Hayden Cord, who is on a lap. I think he could potentially get a penalty for that. That is not ideal for 2 Magnus. He could have ruined Hayden Cord's lap as well, who currently sits last on a 1 minute 44.4, all 7 seconds slower than anyone else.
Ooh.
Where is the detail?
Well, I'm waiting for the game to install. I'm going to do a Grand Prix and shock myself with how awful I am at this game.
I mean, just pretend what you can see is what I'm seeing. It's nothing like it, but it works.
I'm afraid to say I'm playing as Lewis Hamilton.
Why are you afraid to say that?
because I know that his fans get a bad rep, don't they?
I mean, you've been a fan of the sport for what, a single race, and you already know that? I'd say that's
Yeah.
quite impressive.
No, I only know that because Kofi shouts it down the phone.
He's never done that, I don't know what you're on
Yes,
about.
he has. We've been playing. I have been on a PlayStation party when Kofi has been complaining about Hamilton fans.
That's never happened, I don't know what you're on about, but Hayden Card?
Oh, were you just trying to protect
Oh, I've
Kofi
missed
from the wrath
something again.
of the Hamilton fans?
I mean, I don't know if anyone is Hamilton fans, but it wouldn't be good if they were.
No. I'm sorry, Hamilton fans, for offending you.
Back to spawn you go, has gone P3, and I didn't notice as Techno Sizzle goes quickest with a 1 minute 37.2. That is a solid lap from the McLaren driver that dislodges LG Gaffo by a 1/10 of a second.
I like the name Techno Sizzle.
Well, I mean, that's clearly all you need to know. Can't see the race, but you can hear his name and you support
Exactly.
him.
Techno Sizzle, good job with the naming game there, mate.
So, Hayden Cod is... I believe this is a flying lap. Nope, he's pitting. Never mind. Random kitty captain. I don't know if he's on a lap because that short shifting is absurd if he is.
Absurd. Absolutely absurd.
Yes, we've got to use the fancy words. As Gaffo has started his final flight. No, he's not.
Final flight.
He's not started his final flying lap of the session, that's a lie. Techno Sizzle won't get another lap. His best will be on 1 minute 37.2.
Is that good?
Compared to my practice, I'd say that's good, but my practice is both inconsistent and for a different tier. So, anyway, in terms of people currently on a lap, we have Jackie Gabbana seems to be the only driver. Most drivers seem to have left it incredibly late there.
An update that everybody needs to know. Filming has begun for Clarkson's Farm Series 3.
Now that is news that I'm sure someone cares about.
I mean, don't
somewhere.
pretend that you don't care.
I haven't watched it yet, you know this. But anyway, last minute of qualifying. Let's watch the exciting stuff. LG Gaffo is on a lap.
Let's do that.
The current P2 man, someone who is clearly showing good pace at this track. Will he be able to put it up there? He's hit the wall a bit there, but he is continuing. It does look like quite a quick lap so far. Will he be able to dislodge Techno Sizzle, who has now pit and will not be coming back out again? It does look clean so far. I missed if his second sector was purple, but it does look good from Gaffo other than hitting the wall. Hayden Card has retired from the session. He's currently P4 and Gaffo's hit the wall again. That's probably ruined his lap, so I'm going to watch the Red Bull of 2 Magnus. He's currently out of position. Good through turn 4. That's not turn 4, forget I said that. Gaffo's gone quickest despite hitting the wall quite a few times. That is somewhat unexpected. So, Gaffo's retaken his pole position. Will someone dislodge him? Mr. Orabel is not next to finish a lap. Jackie Gabbana goes P7. The Alfa Romeo of CTCR Ozone next across the line. He was starting a lap and he has missed the checkered flag.
Oh, Owen, I have an update. Oh, sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, bad time, Jack. Marshy coming to the last corner now. Looks like he's had a good final few corners. We don't know what's gone on the rest of the lap. Could he take pole? Could he take the top 3? Marshy goes P4. Next across the line, his teammate stays P7. Next across the line, one of the favourites of this race and the season overall, 2 Magnus. Will he have finally put his lap together? He is currently out of position. 2 Magnus goes only P4, though that is still of course a very good position. Next car to cross the line is the AlphaTauri of Fancaroso. He's been up there in the first 2 races as well, though slightly more unlucky. And he goes P5. Next across the line, Mr. Orabeng goes P3. LG Gaffo has so far, he kept his pole position. Final car that is in a competitive position is back to spawn you go. Will he be able to take Gaffo's pole position when he's currently P4 in a very good position? Will he do it? Only P3, LG Gaffo is your pole sitter, but has a 5-place grid penalty. So Techno Sizzle, the person with Jack's favourite name, is your pole sitter.
Techno Sizzle, my G. I'm going to look up what a pole position is, and I'll get back to you.
I thought you knew that.
I know it's a vague meaning.
It's
right.
first. It means you start first.
Okay.
Okay, that's really disappointed me.
Right, what did you think of me? I sit and watch Star Trek all day. You think I'm looking up what a pole position is?
You watched a race. I thought you'd know this. But anyway, your final grid rundown after 2 of the top 3 have grid penalties will be Techno Sizzle, then Mr. Arbeng, then 2 Magnus, then Fangaroso, then I think it'll be Gaffo, then Marshy, then Hayden Cod, then back to spawn you go, then however you say that, I'm not even going to attempt it, then Jackie Gabbana in P10, CTCR Ozone in P11, me and God69 P12, Holman XD in 13, Maka in 14, Random Kitty Captain in P15, and High PQX rounds off the grid in P16. Gaffo, certainly with the pace, but will he be able to recover from that grid penalty, which will put him in the middle of a very deadly pack of cars down into turn 1.
Is the person you can't pronounce the one that starts with a B and an underscore?
It starts ABRX.
He's not on my chart.
He won't be, he's a reserve.
Oh, you cheeky little reserve person.
Right. So.
Oh, and
yep.
What was it? I've lost track of what I was going to say now. I was going to give a thoughtful overview on what on my thoughts on the grid positions, but I've forgotten what I was going to say.
You probably also forgot on the grid positions, given you can't see them.
No, Techno Sizzle. From what I'm hearing, excellent performance from Techno Sizzle this evening. Don't call me biased.
You can't be biased because you like someone's name. And arguably, Gaffo did do a better job with the pole position, but he had that taken away from him. And I have got it wrong with the penalties because people are in completely different positions to what I said. Namely, Gaffo is P5, not P6. And we've already got overtakes on the grid from an Alpine of, I think, back to spawn you go. But
this is
it's the formation lap now, Jack, just so you know, so
oh,
that's what's happening. And we've had disqualifications already.
It's shaping up to be quite an interesting race today, from what I can hear.
Nearly half the grid has been disqualified from the formation lap.
How does that happen?
Oh, you don't play the game. Basically, Jack, what happens is, if you hit another car on the formation lap, and for other viewers, if you've never watched the game before, I don't know why you'd be here, but if you hit another car on the formation lap, you get disqualified from the formation lap. You'll have very nice and cold tyres, which is not nice at all, and then you'll have a horrible start. But in terms of tyres, let's move on to that. All of the top 5, starting on the mediums, and Random Kitty Captain down in 15th, the rest of the grid has started on the harder tyre. That is unexpected.
I have to say, Owen, that was a smooth segue there.
It was completely unintentional, but I'm going to count it, and I'm somehow spectating a disqualified car. Right.
I'm just going to sit here and be your little hype man.
Yeah, I'd recommend, just because you can see nothing, maybe on the first lap, don't talk. I'll tell you once it's over, because all kinds of chaos will happen. It's Singapore. Not everyone will make it out alive.
That's what the Singaporean government said.
Don't make it political, Jack.
That's going to be tricky for me. I'm just going to sit and draw. Tell me when you're ready for me to start talking again.
So, Techno Sizzle. For what I believe is his first pole position, but I will have to check that one. lines up in P1. Mr. Arabeng, current championship leader in P2. To Magnus, championship P2 man, leader after the first race, is in P3. All three of these guys are contenders for this championship. Fancaroso as well in P4. He is very much a contender. He's been a bit unluckier with incidents, most of them not his fault. We will see what happens here. As the final car comes up to line on the grid, even though he's not the last car because that many got disqualified. Right. Something's happening in the background there with a Mercedes, but... Okay, the lights are on. We prepare for round 3 of Tier 2.
Can I do what they say at that big race and go, sorry mate?
It's lights out and away we go. Techno Sizzle gets a very good start. He gets a horrible start. I've looked at that completely wrong. Orbeng takes the lead. 2 Magnus goes by into P3. Techno Sizzle already down to P3. Gaffo has gone up to P4 from P5. There's an Alpha Tauri fighting in the background. I've gone the completely wrong day with the spectator menu. And we're already into a single file. Wow, that happened quickly. So Techno Sizzle, not the best start from him on the medium tyre, despite being the same as 2 Magnus and Arabeng. Arabeng got into the lead very well. Gaffo up to P4, Fancaroso down to P5, and there is an Alpine and AlphaTauri fighting in the background there. I've gone the wrong way. No, I'm not. Jackie Cabana and CTCR Ozone, I believe it is, side by side through there. Ozone getting the switch back. Will Jackie Cabana be able to do the same? Ozone gets the position. I think that's Ozone. I'm gonna turn the tower on now. So, Mr. Arbeng leads from Techno Sizzle, who is very much pressuring 2 Magnus. Let's get the track map on so we can see what's happening. Doesn't seem anyone has had a major incident so far. We've got fighting between the 2 Williams drivers. Has one of them lost the front wing? I've made this mistake before. Nope, that's just what the front wing looks like on the Williams. And we've got a spinner of Random Kitty Captain in one of his first races, I believe, in quite some time. He may have been here last time though. I'm not very good at remembering that. Mr. Arbeng leads the way from 2 Magnus, the current championship top 2, in the top 2 in that order. Techno Sizzle close behind, pressuring 2 Magnus. Seems everyone somehow, except Random Kitty Captain towards the end of the lap, has made it through cleanly. So Jack, you can now be speaking again.
Hello all. So Owen, run me through the state of the race so far. I hear that my guy with the great name Techno Sizzle isn't doing too well.
He's gone from P1 down to P3, but he's putting a lot of pressure on 2 Magnus at the moment for P2.
Keep the pressure on my guy.
Jack, you can't be that biased. At least hide it a bit.
I'm not. That wasn't biased. Go everybody else. LG Gaffo. That's one of the names I know. Please don't tell me off for being a bad commentator.
Nope, he's not. That was lag. Okay, the Mercedes of the name I can't say. I'm just going to call him Abrix works. The Mercedes of Abrix under pressure from the Williams of Hype Q. Why does everyone have X's in their names? It's not helpful.
Just call him Abracadabra.
Right, the Mercedes of Abracadabra until he tells me what his actual name is. Under pressure from the Williams of Hype QX, and the Mercedes of Abracadabra has gone into the wall, or maybe he hasn't. I can't tell. It's rather laggy, I must be honest. Nope, he's back at. Nope. Okay, I'm not going to watch that battle. It's very confusing for the eyes. Anyway, LG Gaffo now putting pressure on Techno Sizzle for P3. Gaffo with a brilliant start. He wants to win this race. He didn't quite deserve that grid penalty. He's already made up for it, and he's pressuring for a podium position. Mr. Orabeng, 8 tenths ahead of 2 Magnus. He has not broken DRS. Will 2 Magnus stick behind, or will he go for it straight away? He does have DRS. We've got a bit of a train for the lead here, amongst the top 4. And it is in fact one of the closest battles on track for the lead. though
Interesting.
Arbeng is starting to get that further away, and 2 Magnus has hit the wall. That is almost certainly damage, and Arbeng has broken that crucial DRS gap.
Oh dear.
Seems 2 Magnus's front wing may be okay. It's difficult to tell from outside, but that's certainly invited Techno Sizzle to pressure him, and he has brought himself back into the DRS of Arbeng.
Well, this is shaping up to be quite an interesting race today.
So I regret to inform you, Kofi is unable to join the race because he's being pestered by his cousins, so it will just be me. Jack, I suggest you maybe watch the stream. You might have
I'll
a
pull
better
the stream
idea
up in a
of what
minute.
happens.
Yeah.
There is about a 30-second delay, but you should be fine. So,
I can
on track. Me and God 69 is still pressuring the very laggy Mercedes, who has just gone. Well, I think he's gone really far off track here. He has. Me and God 69 has got through on the very laggy Mercedes, of whose name I cannot pronounce. I think a McLaren of Maka has just spun in the background. He has. Maka, potential rear wing damage there. Oh, Techno Sizzle has had a spin. He's down to P7. That could have been contact with Gaffer, but that has jeopardised his race. And the bit of contact with the Mercedes there at turn 1. Something's happened to Techno Sizzle there as we were watching the backmarker battle. That is not good for his race. Puts Fancaroso up to P4. Gaffo is not in the DRS of 2 Magnus though, but he is pressuring Mr. Arbeng with the DRS now, closing up further. The Williams of Hype QS has had an incident on track. Seems he's had a spin. But as it stands, the race is beginning to settle down. A lot of gaps opening up. One gap not opening up is the gap of iMarshy, who's now following Techno Sizzle after that spin, which has detached Techno Sizzle somewhat from the leaders. He is now 9 seconds off Mr. Arbeng, who is under very much pressure from 2 Magnus here. I think they got very close through the middle sector. Gaffo seems to be falling away a bit, but these two up front are really going for it, so maybe he's just looking after his tyres for later in the race. In other interesting parts, back to spawn you go on the harder tyre, which we know is very difficult around the track in the early stages, is up to P5, but at the moment the battle for the lead is the most interesting, with Arbeng and 2 Magnus just 3/10 apart in a part of the track where you can't overtake. 2 Magnus seeming to cut the corner there, but he's following him just 2/10 through the last corner. This is incredibly close racing.
I must say, it sounds extremely tense on your end there, Aaron.
Yep, 2 Magnus is falling perfectly, and I think potentially Arbeng made a mistake in there somewhere, because Gaffo has been re-invited. He is now in DRS, just 6/10 off the leader, despite being in P3, and surely we're going to get some side-by-side action here. 2 Magnus with the DRS, down to turn 4, or maybe turn 5. Will he go down the inside? Stays behind on this occasion. But this battle is certainly going to continue. Immense pressure for the top 2 in the championship, in the top 2 in this race. Gaffo further down in the championship, no further down in the standing here at Singapore. There's been an incident with iMarshy in the middle sector. Not sure what's happened there, but his front wing seems intact. Let's go back to the battle for the lead.
So how is the battle for the lead going?
Gaffo has just hit 2 Magnus. 2 Magnus is round. I caught that perfectly then, that was quite lucky, but well, not for 2 Magnus, who one of them will surely have damage. It was a very hard hit. I'm not quite sure who was at fault. I didn't catch it. It looked like maybe Gaffo outbraked himself, maybe 2 Magnus brakes too early. We're not sure what happened there, but that has given Arbeng a comfortable 1.4 second gap. Of course, it could close it down again. Gaffo's hit the wall again, so he surely must have damage now. But he chooses not to pit. 2 Magnus, though, despite being hit by him, has now lost a position. That could be a penalty for Gaffo. We're not sure what's happened there. Let's go back to the gap of intervals. Is there any battles on track? The closest at the moment does seem to be that of 2 Magnus and LG Gaffo, the two who have just hit each other on the previous lap and given Arbeng a nice gap out front, one which he is using to his advantage and extending. But will 2 Magnus be able to retake that position, which I'm sure he feels he's lost unfairly? Will he go down the inside? Nope, he stays behind. It's a difficult track to overtake at Singapore, and we have the first 3-second time penalty of the race. Hayden card for multiple warnings of corner cutting. 2 Magnus though, putting on as much pressure as he can on Gaffo, following just 3/10 behind through the very technical middle sector. But Orbeng out front now leads by almost 2 seconds.
I must say, Owen, I feel him there with the corner cutting, as it is one of my best moves.
So, we will stick with this battle at the moment, as it is the closest on the track for P2. But there is surely more to happen throughout the rest of the grid. It is Singapore. Somehow no one has died yet. We do have a few stoppers though. The 2 Williams of Me and God 69 and HypeQX have both stopped for fresh mediums. They won't make the end, so I'm assuming that is a front wing change. But 2 Magnus keeping the pressure on Gaffo. Both of them doing well in ERS though. But 2 Magnus falling just 2/10 behind as we go round the last corner and onto the main straight. There is a yellow flag in sector 3. I think the Mercedes, of whose name I can't pronounce, has had an incident. There's 2 Magnus and LG Gaffo side by side through turn 1. 2 Magnus gets the position. Will Gaffo be able to keep it? He will most likely get DRS on this next straight. But 2 Magnus is taking the position. Will Gaffo be able to retake? There is already quite a considerable 5/10 gap, but that fighting has further extended. Orbeng's lead out front, now just a 3-second gap. One that could easily be destroyed with a safety car, as Maka has picked up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. Gaffo though, certainly with front wing damage, his pace is much worse than it was in the opening stint. That contact with 2 Magnus not doing much good for his race, and there is a Williams stopped on track in sector 3 of HypeQX, who has lost his front wing yet again.
That really isn't great. Oh,
he is now a minute behind the next car. Not ideal for him. And so, LG Gaffo, with suspected front wing damage, keeping relatively close to 2 Magnus. Fancaroso, keeping them honest in P4, he's not lost anything over these laps. Back to spawn you go on the hard tyre, is running very well in P5, the lead hard tyre runner. He will, if there's a late safety car, have a very good advantage in this race. And there will be a safety car. It's a miracle that there is still 16 cars running.
It's interesting, isn't it, Owen, how the choice of back to spawn you go's choice of hard tyres, because the top 4 are all on medium, so it's quite a brave choice of them to go on hard today.
Well, you say brave, more than half of the grid is in fact on the hard tyre. But
I can see that, I have got the stream up, I was just trying to make an academic comment.
Well, it was close enough, but the hard tyre is a brave choice. It's usually very difficult in this opening stint, but back to spawn you go will be rapid in this final stint. So,
Mr. Orbeng is driving really well today, having taken that lead after not being in pole position.
2 Magnus has taken out a couple of tenths on this lap, but it depends. Is he pushing? Is he conserving? Is one of them pushing and one of them conserving? Are both of them conserving? Are both of them pushing? We don't know, because we're not them. But it does seem like 2 Magnus has a small advantage in pace at this moment, though I suspect that Orbeng is running lower downforce, which would explain why he was unable to... Well, he held up 2 Magnus quite a bit. 2 Magnus was unable to get past, and in the end just got rear-ended by Gaffo. Or 2 Magnus brake checked him. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm sure we'll find out eventually, but the closest battle on track at the moment is that of Fancaroso, who's now closing up to LG Gaffo for P3. Fancaroso, who has been up there in every single race so far, though he has had incidents in both of the first 2, which have taken him down the order, but he is certainly a championship contender this season, or at least in that top 5 consistently. He is now pressuring Gaffo, who we believe has front wing damage.
It's interesting to see how Gaffo's going to be able to contend this race with damage, but Franco Rosso seems to be gaining well and could be in a position to gain a place.
Yep, Gaffo causing a little bit of a train here from P3 to P6. P6 of course being Techno Sizzle, our previous pole sitter. P5, back to spawn you go, the lead hard tyre runner. P4 Fancaroso, a possible championship contender, he seems up there. And P3 of LG Gaffo. There is a yellow flag in sector 1, it has been cleared. I think it was potentially the Alfa Romeo of CTCR Ozone, though I'm not sure on that one, I didn't see the incident, as the Mercedes, whose name I cannot pronounce, has set the fastest lap of the race, although he is very far back. We have a very close battle between this train for P3 here.
I must say that there is spectacular driving from a lot of the drivers today, and especially the top 4. It's a really competitive match.
I must say they've kept it cleaner than most of us in Tier 1, I definitely can't talk on the matter, and Gaffo has hit the wall again. That could be the other side of his front wing damage there, that could worsen his current scenario, as he now has a 4-second gap to 2 Magnus, who is 2.5 from Mr. Arbeng, leading out front 9 laps into this race as we enter the 10th.
Well, I have to say, Owen, I can't really say much about the driving because my driving could only be described as a war crime.
Back 2 and Fangaroso have gone side by side through turn 1. There seems to have been contact there. Back 2 in the end losing out to Techno Sizzle, and Fangaroso keeping the position at P4. I'm not sure what caused that. I didn't quite catch it until the last moment. But there
Hayden Pod there got a time penalty. I say this as if it's probably not already been mentioned by you. I am a few seconds behind.
No, I haven't mentioned that. No, that's good, because you're behind. You can see if I miss something. That's quite useful, actually.
But it's interesting. Franco Rosso there gaining the place. You probably obvious, as you've mentioned. It's really competitive for that spot. Actually, Franco Rosso didn't gain a place.
Franco Rosso got past Gaffo.
Yes.
I really need to pay more attention. Can you watch that on stream again? I didn't commentate that.
I will go back. Yeah.
I really, sorry, I've missed that somehow. I think I might have even been watching it and I missed it. But
so,
yeah, Fancaroso up to P3.
Fancaroso,
sure he feels he deserves.
I'm watching it back now. Well, I think I'm watching it back. Fancaroso. Yeah, it's completely out of view on the stream. I'm sorry to say.
Okay, sorry, I must have missed it. But Imashi is out of the session.
Oh, Imashi.
There's been an incident on track. Let's see if we can see it. That is a full safety car, it seems, as Imashi has gone into the wall at
Imashi,
the start of the 3rd sector.
I have to say that's something I would do.
Full safety car, and okay, so the leaders have gone past the safety car. They will be given the opportunity to pit. Some cars have pit.
Franco Rosso and
Fancaroso, Jackie Gabbana, LG Gaffo has. He will, I think, be changing his front wing. I didn't see if he changed his front wing.
This pit then has allowed Techno Sizzle and Back to Spawn You Go gain a few spots, but will they maintain them as the cars exit the pit?
It does seem likely. I think Orbeng, Magnus and Sizzle are certain to pit. It is whether Back to Spawn You Go feels he can stay out on track on these hard tyres, which should still feel okay, and maybe goes to the end of the race for soft tyres. That could be a strategy. Seems like there's another safety car at some point.
Well, there has been a few drivers who have switched their hard tyres now out for mediums.
Those mediums won't make the end. Or at least they shouldn't make the end. They might make the end.
But it's quite, as I said, it is quite brave from Back to Spawn You Go to maintain those hard tyres, and he is doing well in 4th position there.
Now, of course, this will spice up the fight for the lead, as that gap that Orabeng and 2 Magnus were building on the rest of the field, and one that was 2 Magnus was closing on Orabeng, has now been neutralised. It is once again a completely fair fight for the field, as Orabeng does pit, 2 Magnus, as expected, also pits. It is the question of whether Back to Spawn You Go also does, and it seems that Techno Sizzle might have spun under safety car. He just spun. What? Okay, Techno Sizzle has had a mare, and he spun under safety car. What seems like twice. I've got no words, but Back to Spawn You Go did in fact pit. He's gone for the medium tyre, and Techno Sizzle, I mean, that could put him out of the top 10. I don't know what's gone on there, but he seems to have had an incident on the safety car. He was running close to Back to Spawn You Go. Potentially something has happened with him.
Techno Sizzle in the pit there now.
So,
Franco Rosso gaining fourth place there, and into third. Oh, but back down to fourth. I am probably a few seconds behind.
yeah, I'm just going to go on the stream because I think someone has requested the Discord link. I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to do that now. I probably should do that now. I mean, we've got a new viewer. That's never happened before, in my knowledge at least.
Hello, new viewer. You are in the same boat as I am.
And you're a commentator who isn't even watching the race live.
I'm not even on the Discord server.
And you're doing a brilliant job.
I'm not really.
It would be a much more boring race if it was just me, let's be honest.
Thank you for the compliment there, Owen. But I will refer to you as I will give you back your title as the best commentator here.
Well, I wouldn't have that title if Kofi was here, but he's not. So,
well, Kofi, a great guy. So the charisma, I can't really rival Kofi's charisma.
Anyway, let's focus on the race.
Let's do that. Back to
the top
Spawn You
two,
Go
both
there.
on hard tyres. They will go to the end without any concern at all. Back to Spawn You Go on the mediums. That could be a concern.
That is interesting. They have switched tyre types, with the hard tyres being more popular in the top 5 there.
Yep, I think the hard tyre is very much the tyre to be on. Not at this moment, but it will be better over the course of this race. The medium, it could be quick. It probably will have a horrible drop off towards the end. Now, another thing to note is we don't know if there is rain coming. It is on dynamic weather. I didn't check the forecast because you can't as a spectator. But there could be rain. Potentially that's what these medium runners know. Maybe they have a chance.
Well, I'm not God, so I couldn't tell you the weather, but it does seem that there might be a bit of rain coming. As I say, I'm not a member of the BBC meteorology team, but...
and when do they get it right either?
Hey, don't do my guy Owain Wyn Evans like that.
Yeah, but he's ginger. Not that we've got anything against gingers, because, I mean, well, it's an Irish league, and is it Ireland that's ginger or Scotland?
Yeah, Ireland has a lot of gingers.
Yeah, so we can't say anything against gingers, of course.
To the Irish people today, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yes, of course, we completely forgot about it. Yeah, happy St. Patrick's Day. I have Irish heritage. I found out off my nan. She was very happy at St. Patrick's Day. She had a little 4-leaf clover pin badge on. Of course, that's clearly given Gaffo no luck at all, because he's had quite a few incidents.
That was clever.
But
I also too have Irish heritage. Just no one that Irish in my family is still alive. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah, you had to take a dark turn there. Anyway, back to the race instead of 4-leaf clovers.
What happened to LG Gaffo?
Well, P5. I don't know if he replaced his front wing. I don't know if he had front wing damage in the first place. Because this game gives you very little information. You just have to stare at things. But the safety car will probably be in this lap. If it isn't, I will be very surprised. Oh, and we have a comment who has informed us that Ireland doesn't have many gingers. Which, I mean, I've never been there, which is a bit of a sin for me, really, and the safety car has stayed out.
Thank you, Takeo, for that insight into our comments there. We appreciate your help. Always great to hear some feedback.
Well, I mean, we do need it. It's only the third race of me commentating. You've only ever watched one F1 race. It's not exactly helpful.
I will be watching the Saudi Arabia GP on Sunday, though.
Well, Jack...
Hope you're all watching it with your mothers, as it is Mother's Day on Sunday.
Yeah, I'm watching it in a restaurant for Mother's Day, because I've been forced to go out, but I'm not missing the race. We've had quite a few penalties under this safety car.
IPXQ there on time penalty for 3 seconds.
I don't think it matters, given he is the only driver that is a lap down and is not going to be given those laps back. I'm a bit concerned that the safety car hasn't come in, and this might be a glitch.
I saw a safety car.
Right, I'm just going to provide the Discord link for our good friend.
I probably.
And I suppose, you need it as well, don't you? You're not even in the Discord and you're a commentator. It's not the best look, is it?
Well, I mean, I doubt even the race owners know who I am or know that I am commentating, so...
Yep, commentating on a race you see with a 30-second delay. It's just... it's true skill.
I'm also very new to F1, so it's interesting, really, how I've managed to do this, but...
Right, so, if you're watching and would like to join this league, because who doesn't love a bit of advertisement, the league has been posted from my personal YouTube, Oven Corey, into the comments now. You can take that league to join the Discord. Jack, I suggest you use it as well.
It's not popped up in chat just yet, so I'll let you know when it does.
Okay, it will be from the account that's called Oven Corey. That is my personal account, but let's get back to the race at hand. The safety car is in this lap. Mr. Orabeng will lead the way from 2 Magnus. Both on the hard tyres, back to spawn you go, will be quick on the mediums. He was quick in qualifying, didn't quite put it together by the looks of it, but he will be up there. Fancaroso, consistently up there. Gaffo, our pole sitter before penalties. He has pace, he's hit the wall quite a few times though. He's on the hard tyres. Jackie Gabbana, next car on the mediums. He will be quick as well. He's been quite consistent, a previous Tier 2 champion, I believe, from 2 seasons ago. Was in Tier 1 last season, but we go again. Mr. Orabeng leads the way. He's got a good restart against 2 Magnus, already has a 7/10 gap. 2 Magnus is under pressure already from back to spawn you go on the medium tyre, but nothing much seems to have happened so far, except for Fancaroso and LG Gaffo, who've gone side by side.
Owen, just to let you know,
my phone hasn't sent it yet. I'll do it in a second, because we have a lot of action at the moment. There is a 3-wide moment here between Gaffo, Fancaroso and Jackie Gabbana. Somewhat clean. It does look like there was a lot of contact there, but Fancaroso has kept the position, and now LG Gaffo is under pressure from the Aston Martin of Jackie Gabbana, our current constructors leaders, though I'm sure Jack doesn't know what the constructors is either. And back to spawn you go, has got past 2 Magnus.
Owen, if you want to send me that link to messages, and I will put it in the chat if it's not working for you.
Yeah, I'm not sure why mine has not sent it. I'm sorry about that.
Sorry there, Sanko. We'll try and get that link sent to you as quick as possible.
I will do that once it calms down, because at the moment we have a very close fight for the lead with back to spawn you go on the faster medium tyres. LG Gaffo has dropped behind Jackie Gabbana for P5. 2 Magnus, I just missed it, dropped down to P3 behind back to spawn you go. Fancaroso
has had an extremely competitive race there today, doing really well climbing those positions.
And it seems, we have a DNF of our laps car of Hype QX. That could be a safety car. Of course, we can't see what happened to him because he's so far back, but I'm sure it was fine. I mean, it looks like he's hit a wall. No, I think he retired on track because his car's still moving. Oh, he's a ghost. We'll never know. We've had an incident with all position changes. Yep, free wide, nearly free wide. I don't know what's happened there. I think he's had a spin. His momentum looks quite slow. Back to the battlefield lead. Back to spawn you go. 4 tenths behind Orbank. Very good exit from turn 4 or turn 3. I'm not quite sure. But Orabeng is an absolute beast in a straight line. I don't know if that's ERS use, but it's incredible.
He really is an excellent driver, I have to say.
Yep, we have quite a lot of drivers in this league who could easily be tier 1 contenders. I personally say they deserve to be in tier 1 more than I do. I definitely didn't get a 10-second penalty for taking someone out last time. And I definitely didn't get a 10-second penalty for taking someone out at last season Singapore.
I can't say there in that I cannot say about dirty driving.
Jack, you don't know how to drive in a straight line.
Doesn't bode well for the future.
Yeah, you're the only person who I've seen with force feedback in a controller. Oh, and we've had another DNF of the Alfa Romeo Hayden card. Let's see if we can find what that's another safety car. I have no clue what happened to him because no one's near him again because he's dead.
Technocism really has had a fall from grace there.
Well, yeah, I think he's had a spin off this restart, which I forgot to commentate on because he was already not quite up there. It seems he's pit for new mediums. He will be brought back into it. He still has every chance to get points in this race, maybe even a surprise podium. You just never know. This will help out our medium runners as they'll be able to save tyres a bit under this safety car. I don't expect anyone except those with damage to pit, which at the moment seems to be the Mercedes of Abracadabra, because I still can't say his name, the McLaren of Maka, and the Haas of Holman, whose teammate, which I haven't mentioned yet, Holman's teammate Ryan Curran, pole sitter in the first race, had a DNF. Saudi Arabia, he was up there, had a DNF, and he's had a race ban for this race, which is why Ryan Curran isn't here. He's a very quick driver, he might even still be a championship contender, but no points in the first 3 races will affect that. So, while under the safety car, I will try and sort out that link for you now. Jack, I will send it you on Snap if you could put it in the chat for me, please, because my account's clearly not doing it. It might be helpful if you join the Discord yourself, too.
I will do, don't worry about it.
Okay. In other news, Jack, remind me to tell you about a certain Josh Hopwood thing later, because it's rather disturbing. I know you already know most of the stuff, but it's more disturbing. Anyway, that's just random beef that none of you need to know about. Back to the race. So, this safety car will be out for another 2 laps, I'd guess. That's probably another 5 minutes of our time at Singapore. It's a very long track, very slow speed. That safety car can barely get round here, especially if it was the Aston Martin, but this is why F1 needs quicker safety cars, because if it was just me on my own, we would run about out of things to talk about here. Jack.
Yes.
Don't be silent after I say run out of things to talk about.
Sorry,
that's kind of your cue.
I was looking at sorry, I'll load the stream back up. It was interesting. We've had quite a few DNFs today.
It's not interesting at all. Honestly, I'm surprised we still have 10 cars, never mind 12. They've done a very good job here in Tier 2.
I agree.
Honestly, it's good to see, because this Tier 2, I'm glad I get to commentate this, because some of the stuff that happens in that Tier 1 race, some caused by me, a lot caused by other people, it's a bit chaotic. And it seems like, despite the Tier 2 drivers, of course, being Tier 2, they're not quite as quick. They seem clean, they seem more able to race than most of us Tier 1s. Including me.
Who in the hell let you commentate Tier 2?
What do you mean?
How did you come to commentate Tier 2? I'm just curious.
Well, right, this is a long story, but it's a long safety car period. Me and Kofi were starting our own league a few months ago. I'm sure you remember, Jack, because you were going to be a commentator.
I was going to be a commentator, James May Racing League. Yep.
We completely gave up because we can't be bothered. So, Gaffo put out a thing saying if people wanted to be commentators. We decided we wanted to be commentators. We're now commentators. It was a very quick chain of events. It does, however, mean that the once, well, never mighty James May Racing League is now never going to happen because we've got stuff to do. Because of course, Kofi has for some reason taken up Tier 2 head steward. Kofi actually, yeah, will be handling all the penalties for the incidents of this race, despite not being here. But
I'm glad that's not me.
yeah, well, I mean, we know from you that you can commentate a race without seeing it. Maybe you can dish out penalties without seeing it. Though, we'll have to wait and see. There's been a position change of Techno Sizzle and Holman. I have no idea how that happened. Holman, for some reason, on the soft tyre, you get the feeling he might have run out of mediums and hards.
Owen, I hate to say it, on the Discord server I can't access anything.
You can't access anything.
There's about 4 channels, it's about, well, let me count. 3.
Oh, you'll have to sign up for stuff. There's a load of automated stuff. Have you put the link in the live chat for our wonderful viewers then?
I have done that.
Right. Well, that is good.
Let me just get back on the stream there.
Let me just go on the stream as well to check I can see that you put the link in. That would be good. Yeah, I can't see the link.
I'm pretty sure I put it in there.
I can't see it. Well, let's look back to the race. So, Mr. Oreng on 7 lap old hard, he's comfortable to the end. It just depends on what happens with the Alpine of back to spawn. You go behind him on the mediums. Will he make it? Will he not? Will he make it quickly? Or will his tyres drop off massively? It does seem likely. To Magnus, I'm sure he wants to win. Harbeng is his championship rival. They're very close on points at the moment. The only 2 drivers to win a race so far this season. Both of them new winners as well. Never won in a season before this. We have had no repeat winners this season so far. It certainly looks to be an exciting one. Maybe we can have another different winner in this race. Back to spawn you go, looks in a good position for it. Gaffo is in a good position, though he does have a penalty. And he's hit the wall quite a lot, I must be honest. CTCR Ozone also in a good position, but with a penalty. Fancaroso, once again, we know he's quick. He's been up there in the first 2 races. Will he be able to get past those cars ahead of him? Maybe win this race? It's uncertain at this point. It's Singapore. No one knows what's going to happen, and we never will.
Singapore, as I say, extremely unpredictable track, extremely unpredictable country.
Okay, and the safety car will be in this lap. Jack, can you do filler commentary for 10 seconds, because my throat is going, I'm getting a drink.
Yes, I can, or I can attempt to. So, Orabang there maintaining his lead with 2 Magnus still falling behind. Back to spawn you go. Back to spawn you go, gaining on Mr. Orabang. Extremely interesting race there. Techno Sizzle has in fact had a fall from grace there, with his 3rd podium position being reduced to 11th position.
Sorry about that, I'm back just in time for the restart. My throat has never hurt so much, as they say. Singapore's a very long race, but Mr. Arbeng comes to the final 2 corners. Will he get a restart as good as the last one? It was very good, and he's gone, but back to spawn you go is very close. Only 4 attempts back on the fresher tyres. Well, not fresher, but softer compound, though he may be suffering at this point. He's had a very good restart. In the background, no cars seem side by side. The Mercedes of name I can't say was defending from someone
on those straights there.
The House of Hallman has retired on track. So, To Magnus and back to spawn you go, very close. Potentially back to spawn you go is struggling on his mediums now. They are 8 laps old, they will have more wear than the hards, how much it's uncertain. And LG Gaffo putting to Magnus under pressure as well, though he does have a penalty. Unsure whether it will be removed, we don't know what he got it for, because I wasn't paying attention. CTCR Ozone, same case as Gaffo, but on the medium tyres, which we believe are going to be struggling now. Me and God69 on much older hards than any other car is in P7, but doesn't seem to be struggling at all. Out in front, Arbeng leads, from back to spawn you go in second. Gap staying very close here. No gap except Maka in 11th is out of a second. We now just have 11 runners though. There is only one car that will finish out of the points. Techno Sizzle, after his very up and down race, of course our pole sitter after penalties, is up to P10. He is in the points. On somewhat fresh mediums, he does have a chance at good points here. Back to spawn you go though. Very close to Arbeng, putting him, practically pushing him through these last corners. He wants this win, you can see it. Will Arbeng though be able to hold on? We know his car is quick in a straight, much more than others.
Would give some appropriate commentary, but I was going through the B-reels. I am now back. It's really going up, building up to be an interesting race. Franco Rosa there with his 3-second time penalty.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Thank you, Jack. See, this is why we need a delay on commentary, because I keep missing things. That is put him out with the win pretty much. Oh,
back to spawn you go.
Arbeng and back to spawn you go are in fact inside each other. Brilliant racing from the game.
I was expecting to hear today. Back to spawn you go. Oh, just losing that edge there.
Arbeng though is driving well under pressure.
It's sublime racing there from Mr. Arbeng.
He's one of those drivers where he doesn't push, he just drives exactly how he needs to.
Yeah.
And I'm going to commentators curse him at some point here, but he's doing a very good job so far. He has led every single lap of this race, I think. I'm kind of losing count at this point, it's been a very long time.
I can assure you it has been every single lap, I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard and seen. LG Gaffo still doing well there. CTR Ozone, I'm not sure if this has already happened, but he has taken over Franco Rosso.
I believe he was ahead of him at this restart, I'm not sure on that one. It is difficult to tell, but back to spawn you go is still right on the back of Arbeng, but 10 laps to go is a long time for those mediums. We've had a spinner of Jackie Cabana in the background. Techno Sizzle is up to P8. Me and God69 seems to have also had an incident at some point, potentially he's lost positions, but DRS has enabled this lap. Arbeng just 2 steps ahead of back to spawn you go in P2. To Magnus lurking behind with LG Gaffo. Will back to spawn you go get past Arbeng, who is a rocket ship in a straight line. This lap.
As I said there, Techno Sizzle is slowly climbing up the ladder again after his incident before.
Back to spawn you go has got a run on Arbeng. He's got us down the inside. No contact. Arbeng keeps the lead. Right round the outside. Brilliant defending. He didn't even care that back to spawn you go was there. He just went round his outside. Good racing from Arbeng, and now that has put back to spawn you go under a bit of pressure from 2 Magnus in the Red Bull. Our race 1 winner. Certainly wanting to get P2 in this race. He wants to not allow Arbeng to extend so much. If he does win this race, which at this point seems the case, 2 Magnus going wide at what I think is turn 10. That's a complete guess. Putting him under a bit of pressure from Gaffo, who of course hit him there earlier on in the race. Could be a penalty coming either of their way, we're not sure whose fault it was. But back to spawn you go, still pressuring Mr. Arbeng. It seems likely, and we've had a DNF again. CTCR Ozone running well in P5, something has happened there. Let's see if we can find his incident, and that is another safety car. Will people pit? The softs might make it, a fresh set of mediums could go far, and Arbeng has faked into the pits. He does not pit. Back to spawn Yogo does not pit, despite being on old mediums. Gaffo has come into the pit lane. along with Fancaroso. Will they go for fresh mediums, fresh softs? It remains to be seen.
Abracadabra is climbing up those positions there now.
And as it stands, only 10 cars remain. Every single car that is in this race will finish in the points.
I know, and I have to say, I have just found out what Abracadabra's real name is. It's Abraclick.
Abraclick. That makes sense. Right, Abracadabra, you have a name. You are now Abraclick. If that is wrong, I'm sorry. But, I mean, it's better than calling you Abracadabra for a full race. You're Abraclick now. I'm actually losing my voice. This is horrible.
I'm also distracted by Star Trek Picard being on in the background.
Jack, you're a commentator here. You've got to be professional.
I am. I'm being professional. Safety car here. Really harshing our vibes.
So, in terms of the pits though, Gaffo went for fresh mediums, not willing to risk it on the softs. That's a good idea because they'd be dead in about 3 laps and don't have much of an advantage round here, it seems. Fancaroso also gone for the mediums. Me and God has done the same, though his mediums are 1 lap older. I have a feeling he pit before this safety car. Not sure on that one though. So, Techno Sizzle, your favourite name, is up to P5 on much fresher mediums than those who haven't pit. He is actually in, despite at one point being last, a good point. He could win this race potentially. After starting on pole and being in literally every single position at some point. He's now back up to P5, fresh tyres, he's in a good position. But it must also be said that I've read that wrong, and it's actually Abraclick in P4 that's on the fresher tyres. So, maybe not. Abraclick's in a good position, though it must be said Techno Sizzle still is in the hunt here. He's got fresher tyres than Back to Spawn You Go, who he's going to suffer at the end. His tyres will be 19 laps old by the end. That won't go well.
Hi, I'm back. They're owing you like with your brutalism, slurping your tea like a maniac.
Oh, was that loud? I'm sorry, that was water. My voice is going. Sorry, I'll move my mic away next time.
Techno Sizzle's overtaken by Abraclick.
Oh, Kofi has joined the live chat.
Hey up, Kofi. Nice to see you.
Right, so Kofi, just so you know, Jack is watching this race on the stream and commentating with a 30-second delay. That's just how talented he is.
I have to say, Kofi, I am not a Tory, just to let you know there, mate.
He's a Tory.
I'm not a Tory.
Anyway, back to the race, because we don't care about your political opinions. Well, actually, no, we do. Because apparently the FIA are very political. So much so that they banned political statements. Anyway.
Well, the FIA can suck my fat balls.
Here in CTCR, we don't care about political statements. Anything goes.
I agree.
I don't know. I'm fairly sure anything goes from
if you're
some
a
stuff I've seen. The FIA banned bikes on track walks. Well,
why?
If that's true, that's concerning. I don't know what a bike ever did to anyone.
Also, Kofi, thank you for calling me a wonderfully talented man. Too kind, my friend.
The safety car is in this lap. Now that is exciting. Will Orbeng, he's had 2 good restarts so far. Will he get a 3rd? Maybe Back to Spawn You Go knows what he's going to do by now. The Alpine, who we know is up there, there's been a position change with Abraclick and Techno Sizzle. Some people have complained about Abraclick in live chat. No idea why, because we've not seen him do anything on stream. Maybe he's one to watch at this restart. But I think we will stick with this battle for the lead. Fancaroso and Gaffo, freshest tyres of anyone. Will they be able to move back up? Of course they do have penalties. It's a very difficult track to overtake. Orbeng is once again in a great position. Will he keep that great position? Remains to be seen. He's going very slow in this last sector, and he's gone already. That's probably a good restart. Yep. But back to spawn you go, despite an initial... Oh, back to spawn you go is round. And he's lost the front wing, I think. That is back to spawn you go's race. Pretty much done. Orweng leads from 2 Magnus in second. The top 2 in the championship are once again the top 2 in this race. Techno Sizzle, the pole sitter, every position in this race has been his at one point. Almost up to third, but Abraclick has seemingly glitched back through him. He doesn't have the best internet. But Orbeng is already 9 tenths ahead of 2 Magnus. Of course, he did start having to avoid the spinning car of back to spawn you go on his very old tyres. But it does seem like Orbeng is in a good position here. We know Orbeng is running lower downforce. He's been a demon on the straights all race. Will that persist through this end? Jackie Gabbana is pressuring Techno Sizzle. LG Gaffo on the fresh tyres has made 2 positions on the restart, as has Fancaroso. All of them in the hunt here. But at the moment, it once again seems like Orbeng and 2 Magnus are the 2 to watch in this race, as Jackie Gabbana goes down the inside of Techno Sizzle at what I think is turn 10, but it's a complete guess of turn number. A very clean move, nearly worked out for him, though he's not quite got the position. Will Gaffo go down the inside? Clean there, Gaffo seemingly getting past Jackie Gabbana. Will he be able to stick it? Gaffo gets the move. And Fancaroso has had an incident. Doesn't seem to have damage, but he has had a spin there, and that's put him behind back to spawn you go. Back to the lead, 2 Magnus. Closed in a bit on Orbeng in that middle sector, now leads by 4 tenths, but we know, once again, Orbeng is rapid in a straight line. He is not even under much pressure here. He's been driving cleanly all race, not seemingly worried though, a bit wayward there. He might have tapped the wall slightly. 2 Magnus waiting for DRS potentially. Apparently Magnus is going to get a penalty according to Kofi. Of course he manages penalties, so he probably should know rather than saying apparently. But Magnus apparently involved in an incident. We're not sure what incident. It could have been that Gaffo incident earlier on in the race, and meanwhile Gaffo up to P4 on the fresh mediums. He is in a very good position in this race, getting past our pole sitter Techno Sizzle. So according to Gaffo, he's brake checked. It did look on stream like he rear-ended at the time. I'm not sure there. Abraclick is once again a laggy mess, and no one has any clue what's going on there.
I'd just like to say that Abraclick had a brilliant race from the last restart where he was really close to the bottom, and he's really made his way back up.
Yep, Kofi, I can see in the live chat. The Merc is just lagging. It's the game being weird, it's what it does. People just go off and teleport back on. That is causing issues for drivers trying to get past him. Some may argue terrible internet is the best defense you can have. And it does seem like it's working here, because Gaffo can't get past, but DRS is enabled, and 2 Magnus is very close to Orbeng at turn 1. Will he be able to get past here?
Bad internet was the best defence, but not against the Chinese government.
So apparently you can get a pen for internet connection. I did not know that, but anyway, focusing on the battle for the lead, 2 Magnus has DRS on Orbeng.
Owen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sorry, I've just been ignoring you completely. There's a battle going on. 2 Magnus with DRS gained absolutely nothing on Orbeng. They're on the same ERS level. Oh, 2 Magnus has gone wide, very nearly in the wall there. I'm not sure if he hit it. That was very wide. He's lost a lot of time to Orbeng, who's broken DRS here.
LG Gaffo there with the overtake against Abraclick.
Kofi with that very interesting comment of the Chinese Communist Party going to hunt me down.
Don't worry, Kofi, I'll protect you. They all love me at the Chinese Communist Party.
I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but anyway, Gaffo on those incredibly fresh tyres, he has an 11 lap delta to the 2 leaders, is closing up. He is in a brilliant position to win this race if he can get that penalty gap, which currently stands at just 3 seconds. Maybe he can even get that penalty removed. Gaffo is in a great position in this race, and he's just hit the wall. Never mind. I mean, maybe he didn't get damage. He's still got a fresh tyre advantage, but... And Kofi clearly showing his support. Maybe he wants a better seat next season. You never know. But, I mean, looking at Gaffo's handling, I'd say he might have some front wing damage here. But he does have the fresh tyres. Let's see what that holds for him. So, Aberclick stays behind Gaffo, very close. Of course, he's a lucky mess, but Kofi being very emotional in the case of Gaffo hitting the wall. Of course, I've seen him do it at least 6 times this race. And back to spawn you go, in last, 30 seconds behind anyone, has got a 3-second penalty.
Gaffo there with what I like to call the Richard Hammond special. Crash after crash.
But
back to spawn you go.
1.4th lead. Gaffo is still in a brilliant position, but
Gaffo
no one can get past Orobeng. Orobeng is
team.
His straight line speed is incredible. Yeah, and he's not losing much throughout the lap either.
I have to say, Owen, I don't know how he isn't a tier 1 driver.
Well, it's his first season. I don't see him staying in tier 2 next season. Him and 2 Magnus are gonna get promoted.
I think so as well.
So, did 2 Magnus make a mistake there? I think he might have. He's lost some time to Orobeng. I think he may have gone deep into that corner. Gaffo and Aberclick are fighting. Aberclick, who some people have complained about his internet.
Gaffo there, taking the lead off Aberclick.
Surely, did you say the lead, Jack? Okay.
Well,
We've got fighting between
lead,
Technosizzle and... Nope, that's a ghost battle. They're both inside each other. Meanwhile, Gaffo, I think he has damage, but Orobeng is doing a brilliant job. He has led every single lap of this race except the first 5 meters. I mean, you can't fault him. He's done a brilliant job, and I really don't want to curse him, but he has to be commended. If he crashes now, no one cares, because he's led 29 straight laps at Singapore. That's impressive.
It is truly genius.
Clearly though, he's gone for higher downforce setup. It's worked perfectly for him. He took the lead where he needed to. No one can get past him. Does seem like 2 Magnus has had a pace advantage, but that's what you'd expect with higher downforce at Singapore. But Orobeng has made the compromise for downforce. He's got the straight line speed. He's doing just fine as it stands, but 2 laps still remain. Both of them don't have a penalty. Potentially one could get a penalty. That would change the race. Potentially we could have an overtake, as 2 Magnus is very close here. Taking the wide line into what I think is turn 10, but I still have no clue. And losing absolutely loads of time. How has he lost 4 attempts? What? I don't even know how he's lost so much time there, but... Or maybe he had a wobble, but...
It really is a shame for Franco Rosso and Back to Spawn You Go, who have both dropped right down after Back to Spawn You Go was in 2nd place.
It must be said also, Gaffo is close. He's just hit the wall again. Every single time I see Gaffo get close, he just understeers into the wall. But maybe he could still be in this. I mean, he's only a second away from a podium position after penalties. That penalty could be removed. Other people could get penalties. And we have a battle for the lead here as 2 Magnus goes down the inside of turn 1 on Orobeng. They're still side by side here. Orobeng, brilliant traction out of turn 1, and Gaffo gets another 3-second penalty. That is his race over. Orobeng keeps the lead. And surely will keep it again here with his great straight line speed. Both of these drivers are low on ERS. Orobeng remains in the lead. He did not lose it at all there. He has still led almost every meter of this Grand Prix. He's doing a great job as Aberclick gets a 3-second time penalty. At the moment, it looks like a potential podium for Jackie Cabana with penalties, who's doing a very good job down in P5. But the battle for the lead is the one we care about. 2 Magnus and Orobeng. We could have a change of lead on last lap here. I'm sure Orobeng would be heavily depressed if that happened. Maybe 2 Magnus will go for it here. Nope, but he's practically pushing Orobeng through that corner. Orobeng though with much better traction out of there. He's had that nearly every lap. 2 Magnus might be getting desperate at this point. But both of these drivers are doing a brilliant job It has to be said.
I agree.
Of course, Arbeng has led every lap, but Magnus has been right there with him the entire time, except for that one bit where Gaffo rear-ended him. But I think Magnus could be under investigation for a penalty here, that has to be said.
I have to say, Magnus has made a
Oh my,
superb.
he's pushing Arbeng through the penultimate corner there, that is unbelievable stuff. These two are so close as we go onto the last lap of the race. Arbeng leads from 2 Magnus in P2, just a 3/10 gap. No one else is within a second of anyone on track. Penalties will decide stuff, we can't determine that from commentary, but the only battle that matters is the one on track for the lead, where the 2 leaders on the last lap of the race are currently separated by just 4/10 of a second going into the final DRS straight. Arbeng dumping his DRS, 2 Magnus dumping his ERS. Neither of them have any, and 2 Magnus has just hit 0. Will he go for a last ditch send? No, he plays it safe. Arbeng keeps the lead. Kofi is singing the horrible history song in live chat, but that's not important because we still have a 3/10 battle for the lead here on the last lap. Down to 2/10. Will 2 Magnus send it? Will he be desperate? Could we potentially have a crash here on the last lap between the 2 leaders?
I do have to say in reply to your ABBA singing, I am going to see ABBA this year.
Very close through turn 10. He might have hit the wall there. Potentially getting desperate. That's put him 6/10 back. Surely he can't do anything now. Arbeng is way ahead. He has led every single meter of this Grand Prix. Unless he makes a mistake now, he's won this race. There's no more overtaking spots left. We go through the last few corners and Arbeng seems to have made a mistake too. Magnus is incredibly close here. They're practically pushing each other through the last few corners. Arbeng still leads and 2 Magnus has hit him. No incidents there. 2 Magnus pushing him through the last corner. We go through the last corner and Mr. Arbeng wins round 3, the Singapore Grand Prix, by 1/10 to 2 Magnus. Jackie Gabbana comes home in P3 for what I believe is 2 races in a row. I think it might have been second last week. 2 podiums. Arbeng and 2 Magnus. Arbeng 2 races in a row he's now won. That will extend his championship lead over to Magnus. These 2 have been incredible so far.
Absolutely spectacular.
And that was a great race. Any more battles on track? Fancaroso finishes behind Techno Sizzle, Jack's favourite name, and back to spawn you go after what was in a very good position at one point. Comes home in last, but still P10.
Well, I have to say that was an extremely exciting race. Much better than the Bahrain race from a few weeks ago. Not your one, the actual real life one. Now, I've enjoyed commentating very much, but I must say, I have to go.
Well, at least you might have your... please, feel free to come back next week, Jack.
I would love to.
We see Mr. Arbeng on the podium. A brilliant race. The second double podium for Aston Martin in a row. 2 Magnus joining on the podium for his second of the season.
Thanks very much for having me this evening, Owen. Thank you everyone at Hornets Corner Racing. Goodbye.
I'm not ending the stream yet, but I think yep, right, he has left the party. So, we watch the podium. I'll do the final rundown in a second, because, who doesn't want to see champagne? So, before final stewarding penalties, Mr. Arbeng wins the race, leading every lap of this race, except the first few meters. 2 Magnus following him through all of them, keeping him honest. Both of them superb job and finishing just 10th behind. Jackie Gabbana, his second podium in a row, a previous champion, very good job from him. Abraclick, after some questionable lag, but not his fault of course, come home in P4 with a very good drive. LG Gaffo finishes where he started. Not a bad race from him, though he hit the wall so many times, and I think he might have lost a position on the last lap. Me and God69 in P6, followed by Maka in P7, and Techno Sizzle, our pole sitter, after being in every position of this race at some point, finishes 8th. Fancaroso in P9, and back to spawn you go, comes home with the fastest lap, about 2 seconds quicker than anyone else. Then the non-finishers and non-points positions are CTCR Ozone, Hayden Cod, Random Kitty Captain, Hype QX, I'm Marshy, and Holmond, who I believe was disqualified, he was not our first DNF. Thank you for joining CTCR Tier 2, Season 5, Round 3, the Singapore Grand Prix, and we will see you next time out for Imola, I think. It might not be Imola.